Welcome to Screens in Focus, the podcast where we talk about TV and movies. Today we have a bonus episode for you. We are going to talk about Robert Redford because he passed away September 16th, and he impacted me so much in my upbringing as far as movies and things that I watched about him. He had such a presence and a charm and a depth that just really captivated me. His movies really struck me. And they did as I was growing up. But as I learned of his passing, they all came flooding back to me. And I thought there is not a chance that I'm going to miss the opportunity to talk about his influence on me and how inspired I am by people like him, and what a rarity it is. He not only was a fantastic actor and director, but he created Sundance, which promoted independent films and filmmakers. He cared about the environment. He cared about Indigenous stories. He was an executive producer for Dark Winds, which you and I, Renee, covered and loved. So go listen to those episodes. And so much more. There's countless other things that he did and supported, but he just moves me in a way through his eyes and the look that he gives, and through not even verbal communication for me. So I do want to ask you first, any thoughts you have, Renee, on Robert Redford in general? And then we'll kind of go down our favorite movies that we have of his.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he's just always been around in the industry and things like that. But I didn't know a lot about him until, it's always sad that it's like, oh, they died. And I read all this stuff. I'm like, oh, wow. So I didn't know that he was responsible for Sundance. I didn't know that. And so I was like, that is really cool, And so, yeah, just reading about him after he died, I was even more impressed with him. I mean, I've always been impressed with his acting, his directing, and then, all of those things in the movie industry and things like that. But yeah, he's got all this other stuff going on the side that I would just never was privy to for whatever reason. It was really fun to read about all the different things he's been involved in and the impact he made. I think it was Variety called him the godfather of independent film. And I thought that was really neat. I like that.
Yeah, that is so cool. I know. I've had such a heavy heart for a whole week. We are recording here on a Monday, and he passed away last Monday, but the whole week. And I ask my sons and their girlfriends, do you know who Robert Redford is? Do you know who Robert Redford is? But none of them know who Robert Redford is, and it's killing me. I'm like, go watch his movies because they're so good. And so in saying that, I did just recently watch Jeremiah Johnson. We watched it this weekend, my husband and I. He actually owns the movie, but it was because it was on Tubi and it was the only one that was free. So I just rewatched that this weekend. He is a mountain man in this, and it's a Western survival type film. So it was good to see it again because I didn't remember all the details. But it reminded me, this isn't even my top 3, people. I'm just telling you about this movie. His portrayal in Jeremiah Johnson reminded me of his more recent portrayal in All Is Lost. I don't know if you've seen this. He is on a boat on his own and he has to survive. Oh, wow. And this was just in 2013. And it is an action adventure. And I remember when I saw this movie, there was no one to talk to. So he's mostly action, reaction. I was gripped. Not how, because of course he's brilliant, but when I say, how is it that somebody, he probably was in his late 70s when he did this, right? Late 70s.
Yeah.
On a boat, surviving, have me totally gripped watching him because I can't look away because I want to know what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
And he directs you with his eyes, like he'll look or he'll whatever it might be. And that's the same thing he did in Jeremiah Johnson. And so it just reminds me how extraordinary he is just as an actor. So in saying that, what are your favorite Robert Redford films?
Well, I put one of my favorite films that he directed, because it's such a great film, is A River Runs Through It. And I absolutely love that movie. And I had to mention that one. It doesn't act in it, but he's behind it, he's doing it, and it's that's why it's such a fantastic movie. So I just had to bring that one up because of his direction and that. So I really love that one. And after I was looking through, I was like, it's been so long since I've watched. I went through and looked, and I'm like, man, I've watched these forever ago. I can't think of one of his movies I've seen very recently, but one that I just remember standing out to me. I was younger and stuff, but I remember Out of Africa. There was just the scenery, the romance, him and Meryl Streep, and it was just. I just really remember being very captivated by that movie. And so that was the only one that I remembered well enough to be like, okay, that one for sure was. I mean, there's several movies like, oh yeah, I watched these, but it's been so long ago. But yeah, so that was the one that really I remembered as oh, that's right. That was such a great one.
I love those. And I love that they're different than the ones that I have listed here because I'm a sucker for romance. So The Way We Were with Barbra Streisand is my utmost favorite movie with him. Just the way that she moves his hair away from his eyes like this. Oh my gosh. And that I just read recently was not scripted. She just did it, improvised that portion. It wasn't written in the script. And I'm like, holy heck, that's what I remember. That's the moment I remember. Yeah. Also that there was this deep love. No one dies, but there's this deep love, but they know they can't be together. That was like, I bawled when I watched that. I bawled when I watched it again. I was trying to watch it this weekend, but again, I couldn't find it free. And I am going to watch it again because I just love that movie. I also really love The Natural.
Oh, yeah.
With baseball. I love the movie. I love baseball, and it's just perfect combination of those two things. So I really enjoy that movie. And I have to bring up Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And the reason I do is I was such a young kid when I first watched this. And the only reason I watched it, because at that time, television dictated what you watched because you didn't get a choice. You just had to watch what was on television. And I remember watching it. And watching these two older, well, to me, they were older because I was a young kid, older guys to me, and it was Robert Redford and Paul Newman. And I remember thinking, holy heck, these are really good looking men. I thought, wow, they're funny. They're humorous. They have this chemistry together. And as the years went by, I would always look back at that movie and look at those two actors. And Paul Newman also was one of my favorite actors that I used to love to see him in movies. And it's interesting because both of them founded foundations of their own, because his is all the Newman foundation with the dressings and everything else. In fact, when I brought it up to my family, again, they think of the brand Newman's Own. I'm like, wait, he's an actor, right?
There's a whole other side of this. Yeah.
Yes. There's a whole nother side. And the fact that he had this marriage that was unheard of in Hollywood, because he was married to Joanne Woodward for forever. I mean, for decades and decades and decades until their death. So these just two extraordinary actors acted together, and they also did The Sting together also. So there's just so many movies out there. We could go on. As I was looking them up, there was left and right. I'm like, oh, I saw that. Oh, I remember that. I mean, All the President's Men. It's about Watergate and Spy Games with Brad Pitt. Yeah. And there's just so many. There's so many. So please go watch a Robert Redford movie. You won't be disappointed. He's just such an icon, so inspiring. And we're so lucky to have the gift of all these things that he's left us and this legacy that he has. So thank you, Renee, in sharing your favorites from him and what he means to you. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, it was good to remember him.
All right, friends out there, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you and that you joined us. Follow Screens in Focus at screensinfocus.com, and remember to keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those screens in focus. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.